we have to realize that I'm only in control of my internal situation. Mera swasthiti, you can say. The internal situation. That's the only thing I have control over. Jo paristhiti hai, the situation around me, I don't actually have any control over it. But we work in opposite, meaning we look to the paristhiti in order to give me my swasthiti. Though if everything is great outside, people are doing what I want them to do, they're treating me the way I want them to treat me, the weather is doing what I want it to do, the stock market is doing what I want it to do. Agar paristhiti is mere hisab se, I'm great. Mera swasthiti, my inner situation, becomes great. But when the paristhiti is not according to what I want, people are not dancing according to my tune, mera swasthiti kharab ho jata fir. Mera mood off ho gaya. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated. But this is actually the reverse of how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, I create inside me a swasthiti that is peaceful, that is love, that is consciousness, that is joy. And that is what I exude out into my paristhiti, into the world outside. That's the way that we're supposed to do things. So when the people around us, this paristhiti, the situation around us is negative, people are being negative, how do we stay positive? Well, it's actually the same thing. What I'm doing is I'm taking in their negativity. All these people around me are complaining, they're grumbling, they're fighting, they're being judgmental, they're doing whatever they're doing that is negative. And what I've done is I've allowed myself to absorb it all. Taki I become negative on the inside. We are energetic beings, right? We look very solid, but if you actually put us under an electron microscope, what you'd see is energy. You'd see whirling electrons. You wouldn't see this fine line between where I end and the world begins. It's just that the tools of our eyes are not as fine as an electron microscope. So we think we have borders and boundaries, but actually it's energy. Now that energy is interacting with energy in the world around us. Not just on an atomic level of our electrons, but on a deeper energetic level. When we speak about feeling energy, feeling vibrations, feeling this isn't happening just on the level of an electron. It's happening on an even deeper energetic level. But we're energetic beings. And so our energy is interacting with the energy in the world outside. Now there's two ways for energy to work. Either we receive or we transmit. And we actually do both. So we receive energy from the world around us, and we transmit energy to the world around us. If it is cold outside, I'm going to catch a cold if I sit in the cold long enough. That literal physical coldness of the world outside has actually penetrated me and become cold inside. Similarly, if there's all this love in the world outside, so instead of that physical energy, the energy of love, chances are, even if I was in a bad mood, if I'm surrounded by lots of love, lots of good vibrations, chances are it's going to penetrate me also. And I'm going to start to feel better. So all of the types of energy are able to penetrate us. But we also exude them into the world. So it goes both ways. If I'm angry, and you've just spoken about this, being around people who are negative, it's impacting you. Why? Because they are exuding it. It is not just confined to their physical beings. That negativity is actually being exuded out of their bodies, like an air conditioner exudes cold air. You literally feel it, and it impacts you. But this is where it's so important to realize you're also an energetic transmitter. And this is where we get to become really conscious. When you are in places where the energy around is full of love, full of positivity, full of divinity, full of spirituality, do a little internal switch to energy receiving mode. So you're sitting in the Ganga Arati, turn on that little switch inside that says energy receiving mode. And literally feel yourself just fill up with that divine energy. You're with someone you love. Allow that switch to just receive. And then you're in a situation where there's negativity. Go inside and do a little internal switch from receiving to transmitting. And just focus now. Now I'm a transmitter. I've got all this stored up of great love and divinity and peace and goodness and positivity that hasn't only come from outside, but I'm actually manufacturing it inside me as well. When I feel love, I'm creating love. It's not just the vibes I got in the Arati. The vibes in the Arati have turned on my internal positivity manufacturing plant, my internal love manufacturing plant. So I'm now manufacturing it as well. Arati's over and I'm still manufacturing this. So we've got all of this in us. Do a little internal switch from receiving to transmitting. And as you're sitting there with them, just literally picture yourself transmitting that love into the world. Not with the agenda that it's going to change them. It's not about I'm going to change you. But at least enough into your world that your immediate energetic environment now is an energy of love. The example that I always give about this is if you go scuba diving or even surfing in the ocean where it's cold, you wear a wetsuit. Now, people think that the way that a wetsuit works is it keeps you dry, but it doesn't. That's what a dry suit does. A wetsuit is actually an amazing piece of technology. What a wetsuit does is it actually allows in this very, very, very thin layer of water, which your body heat automatically warms up. Right? Our body creates heat. Get in a cold bed in the night. It's freezing for the first few minutes. And after 5-7 minutes, it's beautiful. Your body has created heat. So you put on a wetsuit, very, very thin layer of water is trapped inside. Your body heats up that water. Now you go in the cold ocean, but you've got this thin layer of warm water that keeps your body warm. So on an energetic level, I mean, heat is also energy, but on a different type of energy level, think about literally transmitting that internal love, internal positivity into the world around you. Give yourself kind of a wetsuit of love and positivity when you move through negative environments. And if you're lucky, it'll actually impact them as well. But don't do it with that agenda. Do it only with the agenda of you transmitting it into the world such that your environment, your energetic environment is peace and love. And I say don't have the agenda of transmitting it to others, only because otherwise we set ourselves up for frustration. Otherwise we think that somehow it's up to us to make them positive. And then the focus becomes on, I'm going to make you positive, going to make you positive, going to make you positive. And actually it ends up just, making me all tense and contracted and doesn't actually work. But if I can really just focus on transmitting love and peace, it's the opposite of receiving their negativity, so it's worked against that. B, it's surrounded me with love and positivity. And then C, bonus, because they are also energetic receivers in addition to being transmitters, and you're not actually wearing a wetsuit, they're going to pick it up. And slowly, 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 if they're in receiving mode, it'll change them. But don't feel like that's your responsibility. Your responsibility is just to transmit. What they receive, how they receive is up to them. But literally do a little internal visualization of that switch. Now receiving. Arti. Love. Negative situation. Transmitting. Love. Peace. It works beautifully. How do we attain? Who do we have to become to attain? How do I get? Right? Just by surrendering. Just by surrendering. Now, what we have to surrender, I was speaking, I think it was last night, about the spiritual heart attack that we have, right? When our vessel becomes clogged. So, me prapt nahi kar paungi. If there's no place in me with which to think for a moment. You're walking down the beach. You collect seashells. They're very pretty. You hold them in your hands. You get to the end of the beach. Someone is pouring diamonds out of a bucket. Kya karoge? What are you going to do? You're going to hold on to your seashells? No. Going to let go of your seashells? So what are you going to do? You've got your hands full of seashells. You've picked them up. Nice rocks, nice seashells. You've picked them up. Now this man has a bucket of diamonds and he's trying to pour them in your hands, but your hands are full of seashells. What are you going to do? Yeah, exactly. You're going to get rid of those seashells. Because you know, mujhe diamonds prapt karna. I have to attain these diamonds. First I have to get rid of what's already filling my hands up. So if I'm looking for that attainment of the divine, well, first I have to get rid of that which is blocking me from it. What am I already filling myself up with? Look at the ego, look at the fears, look at the desires, look at the attachments, look at the expectations, look at the judgments. Look at all that. And then, like with the seashells, usko, thank you, mujhe diamonds lena. The diamonds are there. That divinity is there. Any minute and every moment. You don't even have to wait till you get to the beach, to the end of the beach. It's there and at every moment. As soon as you get rid of that which is blocking you, preventing you from holding it, from attaining it, it's there. That's the grace. The minute you clear yourself out, grace flows in. In order to hold it, first of all, you have to make sure that you really, not just fill yourself up with it like it's something from outside, but allow it to become you. Allow yourself to be Not just filled like a tank of gas, but actually transformed when you're here. That's the path, because when you're transformed, then it doesn't dissipate, it doesn't go away. You'll find within yourself the ability to turn back on that internal peace and love and divine connection manufacturing plant. Yes, here it happens through arti, through the divine experiences, through the places, through the energy. There you may have to work a little bit harder to turn it on. And ultimately, the point of our spiritual practice is freedom. And this is where no reaction is so essential. But this is where our swastiti has to be so set. If my internal situation is not set, I'm going to react. I'm going to become like a light bulb that gets turned on and off by external situations. As I was saying, people are nice to me, they do what I want, I'm on. They're not nice to me, they don't do what I want, I'm off. But that's because I'm not on already inside. That's because I don't have those switches inside. I've given those switches outside. I've said that what I need is how you behave, how you act, what you do, what you say. And I don't. I have it inside. But that's what you've got to find, is how do I hold the switches of my life inside? We react when our internal batteries are very weak. This is why you notice, for example, even something as simple as you didn't get enough sleep last night. Right? Something happened, sone paidatko. The next day, what we notice is we tend to be a little bit more cranky. The sort of thing that wouldn't necessarily upset us normally. If we haven't had any sleep, especially if you haven't had any sleep for several days in a row, we're more likely to react. Now that's on just a physical level. But our batteries also get low on a spiritual level, not just physically. It's not just the body needs sleep. Spiritually we need that energy. And so this is where our spiritual practice comes in. So in the same way that I'm more likely to react if I haven't gotten enough sleep, I'm more likely to react if I haven't meditated. More likely to react if I haven't done my japa. More likely to react if I haven't gone within. And this is where you have to keep coming back and grounding yourself, so that you're anchored. If you're not anchored, every wave that comes, the boat goes here, the boat goes there, the boat is out to sea. But when you're anchored, then the waves come, but you're still there. And that's what our spiritual practice does, is it anchors us. So when you react, don't worry, just think of it as God's little reminder to you. You know, we get reminders on our phone. It's sort of God's bing, meditate. Bing, go back to Rishikesh. Bing, anchor within. Right? Just kind of think of it as sort of God's reminder on your phone that says your batteries are low.